Hyperfocus. It's like that one unpredictable friend who shows up unannounced. Sometimes it's the life of the party, and it's there. Other times it's crashing on your couch when you've got stuff to do. For those of us with brains that work a little differently, it's one of those double-edged swords. Thanks to hyperfocus, you can get lost in hours of TikTok, or you can ride it like a superpower to smash through tasks and create things you didn't even know you had in you. If you've ever spent hours in a deep dive on something random, like researching the history of 14th century footwear or rewatching old episodes of a show you barely remember, you know the feeling. But what if you could take that laser focus and aim it at something that matters, like finishing your novel? Yeah, the novel that's sitting there, half started, staring back at you like, hey, remember me? I'm your novel. Pay attention to me. Hyperfocus is your secret weapon, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to harness it. By the end of this, you'll be able to turn that lose track of time energy into something that will change your life, starting with your writing. Hi, I'm Devlin Blake, and I'm excited you're here. As a neurodiverse author, I know how overwhelming writing and publishing a book can be, especially with a full-time job and busy life. I once thought I could never be a published author, but everything changed with Amazon Kindle and KDP in 2007. Now, with over 200 books written and ghostwritten, I help neurodiverse writers write better and faster using AI. I'll guide you in writing and self-publishing with confidence, making the process easier and more fun. So, let's kick things off where it all begins, your environment. Don't worry, I'm not about to tell you to create some Instagram-perfect workspace that looks like it was ripped from the pages of a minimalist lifestyle blog. Who wants that anyway? Real life is messy, and your writing space should be designed for how your brain works, not how some random productivity guru says it should. So here's the real secret. You don't need a picture-perfect room. You just need a space that tells your brain, this is where we get stuff done. Step 1, clear the clutter. And I don't mean you need to go full Marie Kondo here, unless you want to, but you've probably noticed that when your desk is drowning in half-read books, random snack wrappers, and 16 different urgent Post-it notes, your focus has nowhere to land. Your brain starts picking up on all the distractions, and suddenly you're cleaning out the junk drawer instead of writing that next chapter. Sound familiar? Clutter, whether it's physical or digital, is like static in the background of your thoughts. It pulls your attention in 100 different directions. The next thing you know, you're clicking through emails or scrolling social media instead of hammering out those pages. The solution? Clear the space where you work. This doesn't mean you have to live like a monk, but fewer distractions around you means fewer excuses for your brain to wander. Here's a pro tip. It's not just about your physical desk. Your digital workspace matters too. If your desktop looks like an explosion of random files and you've got 47 tabs open on your browser, good luck focusing. Even though you might not realize it, all that digital clutter is draining your attention. Close the tabs, tidy up your desktop, and give yourself some digital breathing room. But environment is about more than just tidying up. It's about creating cues that tell your brain, it's go time. Think of it like setting the stage for hyperfocus. One of the best ways to do this is with sensory triggers, things that signal to your brain that it's time to lock in. Maybe for you that's music. Not just any music though, I'm talking about a playlist specifically designed for writing. Something that, over time, your brain associates with this is where the magic happens. Not into music? No worries. Maybe background noise works better for you, white noise, ambient sounds, or even total silence. The key is finding what works for you and then using that sound as a focus trigger. It's like training your brain. Every time you hear that specific playlist or sound, your brain knows it's time to shift into writing mode. Oh, and don't forget about scent. Scent is a powerful tool for focus. Maybe it's lighting a candle or using essential oils, lavender, peppermint, citrus, whatever wakes up your brain and helps you dial in. You'd be surprised at how effective this can be. Scent has a direct line to memory and mood, so the right fragrance can trigger focus and calm in seconds. And then there's comfort. If you're sitting on a chair that feels like a medieval torture device after 20 minutes, I'm betting your writing session won't last long. Your brain can't focus if your body's screaming for a break. Set up a workspace that feels comfortable, whether it's a supportive chair, a standing desk, or even a cozy blanket you wrap around yourself. The point is to make your environment work for you, so you're not fighting discomfort the whole time. Okay, now that you've got your space in order, let's talk about rituals. Rituals are like the secret sauce for getting your brain into focus mode. They're those small, repeatable actions that signal to your mind time to shift gears and get to work. And here's the kicker. They don't have to be big or elaborate. In fact, the simpler and more consistent they are, the better. It could be as easy as making a cup of coffee before you sit down to write. The process of brewing the coffee, smelling it, holding the warm cup in your hands. All of that becomes a ritual that tells your brain, this is the moment we switch to focus mode. Got a story idea that's burning to get out, but not sure how to kick it off? The Plotbot is your fast track to turning that spark into a full-fledged plot. For less than the price of a coffee and a cookie, you'll have a customized AI chatbot at your fingertips, helping you shape your story in minutes. Grab it now at the link below and start writing your novel today. Over time, these small, sensory-based rituals train your brain to slip into hyperfocus more easily. Or maybe your ritual is lighting a specific candle, putting on noise-canceling headphones, or even doing a quick stretch before you dive into your writing session. Whatever it is, it needs to be something you do every single time you sit down to work. This consistency is key because it creates a kind of mental shorthand. Your brain starts associating that ritual with deep focus, and before you know it, you're slipping into the zone faster and with less effort. And trust me, these rituals don't have to make sense to anyone but you. They don't even have to make sense at all. Maybe you take 3 deep breaths before you start writing, or maybe you always start with a certain pen. The point isn't the ritual itself, it's the fact that you do it consistently. Over time, it becomes second nature. You'll be surprised at how quickly your brain starts to associate those actions with the task at hand, and soon, just performing the ritual will be enough to trigger hyperfocus. Ever noticed how certain smells or sounds can transport you back to a specific moment in time? Like you hear a song from high school, and suddenly you're right back in that awkward gym dance? For me, it's the smell of sawdust mixed with paint, back from when my dad used to build boats for a living. For you, it's likely something else. That's what you're doing here with these rituals. You're training your brain to link specific actions with focus, so that every time you perform that action, your brain knows it's time to lock in. And now, let's get to the part where the magic happens, writing. So here's the deal. Writing isn't linear. I know it's easy to think that you have to start at chapter 1 and work your way through to the end, but that's not how creativity works. Hyperfocus doesn't care about the rules. It cares about what excites you. So if there's a scene you're dying to write, whether it's the climactic showdown or an emotional heart-to-heart between characters, start there. Forget about writing in order. Follow the spark. Hyperfocus thrives on excitement. It locks onto whatever gets your brain fired up, so why not give it what it wants? If that means skipping to the middle of your book because you can't stop thinking about a particular scene, do it. The important part is that you're writing. The more you follow what excites you, the easier it is to stay in that hyper-focused state, and the more progress you'll make without even realizing it. And guess what? You don't have to worry about filling in the gaps later. The linear parts, the transitions, the quiet scenes, the pieces that connect the dots will come together once you've built momentum. And you can even use AI to help with this. But right now, your job is to feed that hyperfocus. Jump to the parts that make your heart race. Whether it's an intense battle scene or a quiet moment of reflection between characters, let yourself go there. The rest will follow. Of course, there will be moments when hyperfocus kicks in and you're flying, only to hit a wall. One minute, you're completely in the zone, and the next, it's like someone pulled the plug on your brain. The flow is gone. Your thoughts are scattered. The magic has disappeared. Sound familiar? That's because hyperfocus isn't a bottomless well. It ebbs and flows, and knowing when to step back is just as important as knowing when to dive in. When your focus fades, don't fight it. Take a break. Move your body, stretch, walk around, do something that resets your brain. Breaks aren't the enemy of focus. In fact, they're a critical part of maintaining it. It's like rebooting your computer when it starts to slow down. But of course, you have to wait until it actually slows down. This is why I recommend it against timers and other neurotypical productivity advice. But once you do hit that wall, you need to give your mind a chance to rest and recharge before going at it again. Think of your brain like a battery. Hey there! If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps me out and lets me know I'm on the right track with content you love. Thanks for the support. Hyperfocus burns through energy fast, so when that energy's low, it's time to recharge. But here's the thing, breaks don't have to be long. Even a 5-minute pause can do wonders for your focus. Get up, stretch, grab a drink, or step outside for a few deep breaths. The goal is to step away long enough to reset, but not so long that you lose the momentum you've built. And when you come back to your desk after that break, start with one of your rituals. Light that candle, turn on your playlist, make that cup of tea, whatever gets your brain back into focus mode. The key is to ease yourself back in, instead of trying to force your way into hyperfocus when your brain isn't ready. One of the best things you can do for yourself as a writer is learning to recognize your natural rhythms. Hyperfocus isn't something you can force, but it's also not completely random. Your brain has cycles, times of the day when it's more alert, more creative, and more capable of diving deep into focus. Pay attention to those moments. Notice when you feel naturally energized and locked in, and when you're dragging. These rhythms are your brain's way of telling you when it's ready to work and when it needs a break. Once you start to recognize your brain's natural rhythms, you can schedule your writing sessions around them. If you're a morning person, take advantage of those early hours when your mind is fresh, before the day's distractions set in. Or maybe you're a night owl and you hit your creative stride after the world has quieted down. The key is to write when your brain is at its best, rather than forcing it to focus during times when it's naturally low on energy. And here's something to remember. Hyperfocus doesn't have to be a marathon. It's okay to work in shorter bursts. In fact, your brain might thrive on it. If you've got 15 or 20 minutes of focus in you, use it. That's 20 minutes of writing you didn't have before. It's easy to think that if you're not sitting down for a long, drawn-out session, you're not making progress. But that's a lie. Hyperfocus, when used well, turns short bursts into incredibly productive sessions. The key is to recognize when you've hit your limit and step away before you burn out. One of the most important things you can do when you're harnessing hyperfocus is to protect it. Hyperfocus is fragile. It's easily broken by distractions, whether it's your phone buzzing with notifications, someone interrupting you with a question, or even a sudden noise from the outside world. Once your focus is shattered, it's tough to get it back, and you might spend more time trying to re-enter the flow than you did actually writing. So do yourself a favor. Eliminate as many distractions as you can before you start. First things first, turn off those notifications. Your phone is one of the biggest focus killers out there. Put it in another room, turn off the notifications, or, if you must keep it near you, set it to Do Not Disturb. The world will still be there when you're done writing. Your hyperfocus, on the other hand, might not be. It's worth guarding fiercely. And it's not just about the digital world. People can be a distraction too. If you live with others, set boundaries around your writing time. Let them know that when the door is closed or when you're wearing your noise-canceling headphones, you're off limits. It's not about being rude, it's about protecting your creative energy. Hyperfocus is rare, and once you've got it, you need to shield it from the distractions of everyday life. Now let's talk about something you've probably felt before. The guilt that comes after a long hyperfocus session. Got thoughts or questions about the video? Drop them in the comments below. I love hearing what you think, and it helps me create even better content for you. Let's chat. You know the feeling. You've spent hours deep in your writing, totally absorbed, only to come up for air and realize you forgot to do the laundry, missed a call from a friend, or completely skipped lunch. It's like waking up from a dream and realizing that real life was happening while you were in your creative bubble. But here's the thing. Hyperfocus is a gift, not a curse. It's one of the most powerful tools your brain has, and when you're in the zone, you're doing important work. So instead of beating yourself up for missing things while you were lost in focus, reframe it. You weren't neglecting life, you were diving deep into something that matters to you. Your writing is valuable, and so is your focus. That being said, there are ways to manage the aftermath of hyperfocus, so that it doesn't completely derail your day. One of the best strategies is preparing for it. Before you sit down to write, take a few moments to handle anything urgent. Send that email, text your friend back, or set a reminder on your phone to get up and stretch in an hour. This way, when you do emerge from your writing session, you won't feel blindsided by everything you forgot to do. It's also important to build recovery time into your routine. After a long period of hyperfocus, your brain is going to need a break. The transition from the deep, creative flow back into the real world can feel jarring. And if you don't give yourself time to adjust, it can lead to frustration or burnout. So when you come out of hyperfocus, take a few minutes to decompress. Step away from your desk, stretch, drink some water, and allow your brain to shift gears slowly. Think of it like cooling down after a workout. You wouldn't just stop sprinting and walk away, right? You need to ease your way back into the rest of your day. If you know that hyperfocus often makes you lose track of time or skip important tasks, like eating or taking breaks, plan ahead for that too. Set alarms or reminders to pull you out of your writing bubble when necessary. Have snacks and water within arm's reach, so that when you come up for air, you can refuel quickly. These small steps can make a big difference in managing the intensity of hyperfocus without sacrificing your well-being. And don't forget to communicate with the people around you. If the people in your life don't understand how hyperfocus works, they might take it personally when you don't respond to texts, miss a phone call, or forget to do something you said you'd take care of. Let them know that when you're in hyperfocus, you're not ignoring them. You're just deeply immersed in your work. Once they understand this, it'll take some of the pressure off, and they'll be more supportive of your process. Now, picture the long-term benefits of mastering hyperfocus. This isn't just about getting through one writing session or even finishing one book. It's about developing a sustainable way of working that aligns with how your brain naturally operates. Once you're able to sit down and tap into that flow state more easily, you'll be in control of your focus and able to direct it when and where you need it most. Once you've mastered the art of harnessing hyperfocus, writing stops feeling like a battle. It becomes a process you can rely on, a rhythm that works with your brain instead of against it. No more fighting distractions or struggling to stay on track. You'll have the tools to set yourself up for success every time you sit down to write. And the best part? The more you practice, the easier it becomes. This isn't just about finishing a novel. It's about creating a sustainable, creative life in between your non-creative, everyday life and responsibilities. Don't underestimate a life where you can trust yourself to focus when it counts, and where you know how to protect that focus when it's most important. Hyperfocus is your superpower, and once you know how to wield it, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. So as you move forward, keep asking yourself, how can I create an environment that invites focus? How can I build rituals that signal to my brain it's time to work? How can I align with my natural rhythms to make writing feel easier and more enjoyable? These are the questions that will guide you as you learn to harness your hyperfocus and transform your creative process. And don't get discouraged if the first thing you try, or even the first 10 things don't work. Just keep trying, and you will find something that works. Guaranteed. You're not just writing a book. You're building a skill set that will carry you through your entire creative life. And once you've unlocked the full potential of your mind, there's no stopping you. Writing your book is only the beginning. Got a story idea that's burning to get out, but not sure how to kick it off? The Plotbot is your fast track to turning that spark into a full-fledged plot. For less than the price of a coffee and a cookie, you'll have a customized AI chatbot at your fingertips, helping you shape your story in minutes. Grab it now at the link below and start writing your novel today.